This is WaXed.
Well, holla, you surfers, you goddamn nerds. I'm just kidding. We're all part of the tribe. How are the brakes looking? Got some lefts, some rights, some green rooms, A-frames.
A weekly surf talk radio show.
Hopefully when you go out there, you'll find your green card and surf on the home. Poser.
With your hosts, Cyrus Satsas.
All I need are some tasty waves, cool buzz, and I'm fine.
Omar Echeverry.
Locals only, you grommet. Stay off my beach!
And Natalie Rose with the news and weekend surf report.
Surfing is out of this world. You just can't imagine the thrill of shooting the curl. Well, it positively surpasses every living emotion I've ever had.
On ESPN 1700.
Yeah, good morning, San Diego. Cyrus Satsas here. Natalie Rose in the other room. Omar Echeverry is going to join us later in the show. He will not be available at the beginning. This is WaXed Surf Talk Radio. For those of you listening right now going, what the heck is this program? WaXed? Whack? What? We're a Surf Talk Radio show. We've been on the station for a while, and we're now on at a new time from 9 to 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. Is it Saturday or Sunday? It's Saturday. I work like every day. I always lose track. Yeah, we talk surfing. An incarnation of this program has been on the air in various markets for 10 years now, but we're fairly new here in San Diego in beautiful Southern California. And the ESPN 1700 signal reaching all of Orange County and coastal Los Angeles. So if you're in Malibu, Santa Monica, even as far north as Ventura, you're going to get us, which is awesome. And follow us on Twitter, of course, at WaXed Radio. Make sure you follow us there. It's where we do the vast majority of our social networking. And again, if you're curious to know why are you guys on at a new time, how was I supposed to know about that? If you follow us on Twitter, we would have told you. So yeah, just follow us on Twitter at WaXed Radio. Follow Natalie Rose, Natalle Rose. That's her handle on Twitter as well. And our website, waxedradio.com, where we podcast every segment of every show. So make sure you do all that fun stuff. So yeah, effective immediately, we are now on every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. And you can also listen to us online streaming, ESPNradio1700.com. We're also available there. And again, if you miss any portion of the show, you can, again, go to our website, waxedradio.com, where we podcast everything, the entire program. Make sure you check us out there. Great show today. Professional surfer Sage Erickson is on the program. Incredibly talented surfer. She's on the cusp this year in terms of requalifying to get on the World Tour next year. I think this is her second year on the ASP Women's World Tour. But she's not doing great. We taped this interview with her a little over a week ago. She was the defending champion of the Fort Supergirl Pros, that contest they had about a week or two ago at Oceanside. But this year, I think she lost in the first round. And again, her results on the tour, not great, but she's trying mightily to requalify. And she's rigged her. I mean, the woman is smoking. If you go to our website, waxedradio.com, we have a link near the top for all of our surf photos, which includes it's just females. Don't judge. Love. And, dude, she's amazing. I highly recommend going and checking out her pictures. Again, just go to our website, waxedradio.com, and check out the gallery. Natalie, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm doing so good. I was down at the Oceanside Pier this morning for the World Championship Body Surfing Contest, and I'm going to go back there later and tomorrow, and I'm doing good. I was already at the beach, so I'm having a good day so far.
Oh, you're up early.
Yeah, I was up super early.
Dude, bodies. Hold on. So you're going to give your surf report in just a second. And for those tuning in, just stay tuned. In just a moment, we're going to give you a full-on surf report brought to you by yours truly. Not me truly, but Natalie Rose. There's no waves. How are you body surfing?
I know there is no waves, but, body surfers know how to make it happen.
And how do you judge? How do you judge a body surfing contest?
It's just like surfing, like length of ride, how big the wave is, and then there's certain tricks you can do, like underwater takeoff, spinners, so dolphining. There's all kinds of things. So
Are the people who sponsor these sort of events, are they the ones who like your sponsor, the Fins, the Captain Fin or whatever, the Viper Fins? I'm sorry.
No, Viper Fins does not sponsor it, but
like who pays for this? Like who cares enough to actually, put money into a body surfing world championship?
Bud Light.
Really?
Yeah, Bud Light is down there. I know for sure. Viper Fins, maybe they do sponsor it. They do have a banner up, but they are the best fins in the world. If you don't have Viper Fins, you should go out there and get them. But Bud Light does sponsor it, and then I know there's like one or two other sponsors, but a lot of people come down and support it, so it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a really fun activity, and I think it's something anybody can do, and that's why it's so awesome. Not everyone's good at it, but I think a lot of people can do it and enjoy the ocean, and it's a good sport to, represent.
And this is all day at Oceanside Pier?
Oceanside Pier today and tomorrow. World Championship Body Surfing Contest, Oceanside Pier.
Are there huge crowds for this thing?
Yeah, it can get pretty big. I mean, especially when there's waves. Like, I think not last year or the year before, we had some pretty decent waves. So there was like because I do the contest, and when you look up at the pier, you're like, oh yeah, look at the crowd. I got all these people watching. But this year it's super small. So I didn't see too many people down there. But again, I was down there at 6:30 this morning, so I don't think a lot of people are up at 6:30 dying to go watch a heat.
Are they body surfing in the same waves that surfers would be surfing?
Yeah, right next to the pier. Exactly.
How does that work? I mean, if I'm surfing, there's no way I'm not going to go out there if there's a body surfing competition. Like, is there conflict? I mean, is there...
Yeah, you can't go surfing, so they basically get a permit where they say nobody can surf next to the pier for the next.
I've always been baffled by this. So. Are we done? The music just stopped.
Yeah.
Is it surf report? Let's do a surf report.
Let's go straight to
Crank
the
it
surf
up.
report.
Crank it up. Let's get a surf report.
And follow us on all social media at WaXed Radio. Now, here's your weekend surf report.
Well, let's get into it. How is the surf looking, Natalie?
It is 0 to 1. It is poor conditions. It is micro. It is small. There is a southwest swell coming through our shorelines, and I'll tell you, every now and then you can kind of see the pulse, but then it just doesn't have enough energy and it dies right off. It's super cloudy and cold this morning, but the sun is supposed to break through, which will give us a little bit light through our day. There's supposed to be a little bit of a northwest texture on the water today as well, and we do have a high tide in the afternoon that could leave us with even more flat waves. So if you're gonna surf, I would say go out this morning, get it while it's glassy, get it while it's at least a little bit of pulse, and have some fun. And maybe go dive. The water's super clear, and the water's actually really warm. So it warmed up. I was in it all day yesterday, and I was super stoked about that.
Yeah, the water finally warmed up, and look, there's no waves. It's our good friend Mike, who owns and operates PacificWaveRider.com, terrific surf forecasting site. He tweeted at us at our handle at WaXed Radio. Have to agree with your guest last week, Coco Ho, and thank you again to Coco Ho. She was on the program last week, and if you missed that, go to our website, waxedradio.com. The interview's there. One of the best interviews we've ever done, and that's a bold statement on our part since we've been doing this for over 10 years and have had some incredible guests on the program. Anyways, he wrote, tweeted at us, at WaXed Radio, he wrote, summer sucks, everywhere is flat. Best would be the beaches from the harbor to Oxnard mid-afternoon as the tide rises. He's in Ventura. I should have prefaced that as well. On the plus side, there is plenty of parking, and it looks like early burn-off. The surf, though, is knee-high and barely rideable. So not much going on up in Ventura either, where Mike with PacificWaveRider.com is located. But
it's kind of depressing. Like, I was talking to you before the show started, and I was like, I don't even know what it looks like to have waves anymore because we haven't had waves for like a week or two. Like, if I saw a wave, I would be like, what is that? I
mean, the nice thing is, A, the water temperature has finally gone up, which is good. And B, it's like glassy.
And it's super, super clear. Like, if you could go diving, that's what I would do today.
Yeah, exactly. Or I think if you catch it at a low tide, you might get some tiny little waves if you bring a longboard. But yeah, there isn't much going on. So,
maybe go drinking.
Hey, there you go.
Mimosas.
Have fun.
Yeah.
All right, why don't we get Sage Erickson? Thank you, Natalie, for a terrific surf report. Let's get Sage Erickson on the show next. This is WaXed on ESPN 1700.
Visit our website, waxedradio.com, to get complete show podcasts and follow us on all social media at WaXed Radio. Now, more WaXed.
Yeah, this is WaXed, Surf Talk Radio here on ESPN 1700. Our next guest is a competitor on the ASP Women's World Tour, and she's an incredible surfer, talented, beautiful. Been wanting to get her on the show for a while, and it's a pleasure to finally have her. Sage Erickson. Sage, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, thank you. It's a beautiful Saturday here in San Diego. Now, I've been following your career through numerous mediums over the years now. I mean, I feel like with social media, I mean, you're on Twitter, you're on Instagram, and, we'll get to your handles in just a second as to how people can follow you. But in a weird way, I almost feel like when you follow people through these social media, avenues, it's almost like you're stalking them. It's kind of crazy. It's almost like you're living vicariously through them. But in your case, when you travel all over the world, you're a competitor on the ASP Women's World Tour. You do all these crazy modeling shoots, and it's a pleasure to finally have you on. And you're competing at the Supergirl Jam. So let's talk about that first. I believe it's a 6-star event. Is this something you need to do? How are you doing on the overall rankings? Is this an event that's really important to you, or are you going to go out there and just have some fun?
Yeah, well, I'm actually, in a pretty interesting position because on the World Tour, I'm not in a re-qualifying spot right now. There's 17 of us on it, and you have to stay within the top 10 on that tour to continue on to 2014. So I'm actually in the bottom bracket, in which, contests like the Ford Supergirl Pro is coming in handy for me because this is an ASP 6-star event, so it's the highest rated besides the World Tour event. And for me, those points are really critical and crucial. Right. It's awesome because it's in my home state, and so often I'm traveling around the world, like you mentioned, and competing in different areas, and we go to France, and they have their home crowd going, and the 3 months in Australia that we spend at the beginning of the year, they have them, and to come to Oceanside and have California behind me is really exciting, and it makes me want to be better and also being the defending champ, just live up to an expectation.
Yeah, that's right. You won this event a year ago. You are the defending champ, correct?
Yeah, that's
right.
It was actually my first really big win, and this event re-qualified me for the 2013 tour this year. So I'm really looking to keep that position and defend my title. Yeah,
this is, I believe, your second year, and we're joined by Sage Erickson here on WaXed. I believe this is your second year on the ASP Women's World Tour, and correct me if I'm mistaken there. And like you said, there's 17 competitors on the tour. The top 10 automatically re-qualify. But then there's a whole separate ranking system to determine the other 7. And I think you're doing okay in that, correct? I know on the men's side they have the ASP Prime events that help determine that for the remaining surfers. With women's, is it similar, or is it just the 6-star events like the Supergirl?
Well, yeah. I mean, the men's have the primes, and that's just, I think, because the men have so many more competitors. They'll vary from at least 500 guys internationally throughout the whole year competing, to where the girls, we'll kind of be lucky if we get 150 consistent surfers. The Supergirl this year being the largest women's surfing contest in the world.
Wow.
There's over 100 girls competing, so it's a really big event. And with that, there's a lot of talent from everywhere. So it's going to be really competitive and exciting to watch this weekend.
Absolutely, and the fact that you won this event a year ago, congratulations on that. Very impressive. And we're joined by Sage Erickson here on WaXed. Let's talk about your history a little bit. I was doing a little research on you before we got you on the program, and you were born and raised in Ojai, California. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So in Ojai, it's funny. I'm a born and raised Californian. I'm 35 years old now. I'm definitely older than you, but I've lived top to bottom of the state. I spent 2 years up in Arcata, California. I don't know if you know where that is. It's near the Oregon border. I lived for 3 years in San Luis Obispo, California, both for college. Spent 12 years in San Francisco. I've been down here now in Encinitas for about 2 years. So I feel like I've covered the state well. I've done a million surf trips here, but I didn't know where Ojai was. I was like, where's that place? And then I finally looked on the map, and it's you're pretty close to Ventura. What's it like growing up there? What kind of town is Ojai?
Yeah, well, it's funny to associate the town Ojai with a surfer just because it is 25 minutes inland. Ojai is a real authentic kind of country town. It's a valley surrounded by huge mountains. It's horses, country music, and pretty much I was born and raised there, and I played soccer for the most part of the beginning of my life. And we owned a coffee shop called Java Heaven that I grew up in, and for the first 10 years, yeah, I just, helped my mom out and spent a lot of time there. And then we ended up moving to Hawaii for 4.5 years. And that's where I began to surf and ultimately relocated back to Ojai. And now I'm living in Ventura. So I've kind of bounced around between Ojai and Ventura and Hawaii a bit. But it was, a totally different atmosphere than being on the coast and in the ocean. And, I really, really would not take a second back from being born there. I love hiking and being around horses and all of those things. So typically not your surfer's location of being born and raised, but it's awesome. I love going back whenever I get a chance to.
Well, and plus 25 minutes, if you think about it, isn't really that far. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a relatively short drive to the beach, and there are plenty of pro surfers that have come from Ventura. You're part of a very select and incredible group of surfers that originate from there, and just up north of you, nearby in Santa Barbara. What took you from, like, when you were 9 years old? What took you from Ojai to the North Shore of Hawaii? Like why the move?
Well, my dad ended up getting a really good job selling cars over there in Honolulu.
Selling cars?
And yeah.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, he got a really good job over there, and it was kind of just a bit. He just felt being spontaneous and wanted us to come over, and he just made the lifestyle and everything sound so good. And at the time, I really didn't know how to accept it because I didn't surf and I played soccer and that was my life. And moving to Hawaii was an island and it was humid and there was so many different changes and things, and a new school, and all of that seemed so dramatic at the time because when you're a kid, everything's dramatic. It's like your life's over if you don't get to go to like a soccer game or you don't get to go to your certain PE class, just little things like that.
And you're Hallie on top of everything else. I'm sure that has something to do with it too.
Yeah, and I was a total kook when I first got to Hawaii with my California suntan.
Because out of all the places to move to, not only is Oahu probably the roughest, but you go to the North Shore, where I'm sure there's aggression, territorialism. It could not have been easy for you, but you adapted, you assimilated.
Yeah, it was definitely something that I had to adapt to. And going to the North Shore of Oahu, it is so surf-centered, and it's known for waves like Pipeline and Sunset Beach and even Waimea Bay. So there was a heavy surf culture as well as, that local vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But what was really nice about it is everyone was really welcoming. And I actually ended up sitting on my first day of school at Sunset Beach Elementary, which is across from Pipeline the Wave. I ended up sitting next to Kokoho, which is also a part of the tour and one of my good friends. But it was just kind of funny how life throws in things and you don't really know why they work out the way they do until later on.
And, we just had Kokoho on the show. It was a great interview. And if you missed it, visit our website, WaXedradio.com. Again, our website is WaXedradio.com. We podcast all the interviews. And, it was fantastic. So that's crazy. And you two are, I believe, the same age or right around there.
We're both 23. And, we grew up quite a bit together on the North Shore and competing against each other.
Wow. And so to this day, you guys are like the best of friends?
Yeah, we're pretty close. We've being from California and competing and stuff, we've probably distanced ourselves just a little bit and aren't as close as we used to. But the thing that's so special about the tour that we're on is it's only 17 of us, and we've all competed against each other since we were younger from around the world. So it's so cool to actually say, like, my good friends are from everywhere, from different countries in Australia and Hawaii and South Africa and just all over the place. So it's a really unique group, and I'm proud to say that we're all pretty close on tour.
Yeah, I've always felt like, and we're joined by Sage Erickson here on WaXed, I've always felt like it's the blessing and the curse of the ASP World Tour, both for men and women, in that it's such a small group, and you guys are all traveling around the world to these really exclusive remote places. So you all bond together and become friends, which is amazing. But at the same time, it also diminishes, these really heated rivalries that sometimes generate incredible interest in competitions. I mean, you guys are all like the closest of friends, So it's like when you guys compete against each other, when it's all said and done, you hug it out and you party together. You know what I'm saying? Like, whereas other sports, there's like legitimate animosity between the surfers. You rarely see that in on your side. But I'm sure it's a great thing.
Yeah, no, it's definitely situations and things definitely get sticky at times because we're all so close, yet we're all extremely competitive, and we want to win. So it's kind of hard when you come up against those heats where you're like, hey, I want this person to make it because you're my friend, but realistically, I need to beat you for my job's sake and because I want to win.
Yeah.
And, it's really fun to see each year the new rivalries that arise and, what girls constantly draw each other. And even I remember when I was younger, Courtney Kalmog and I, who's also from California, we used to hate each other's guts, and we used to do anything we could to beat each other. And now I can't tell you how thankful I am to have her on tour, and it's kind of like having a sense of home.
Right.
Which is awesome. So it's, we're friends on the beach and competitors in the water, and, I think we do a really good job at keeping those things separate.
Yeah, and that's fascinating. Courtney Conlog, I believe she's from Huntington Beach, a couple hours from me, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's correct.
And you're we recently had the Vans U.S. Open of Surfing, which in a lot of ways was marred by all those crazy mobs and riots at the end of it. Did you bail town before all that happened?
Yeah, I didn't get the best result, and so this event coming up, I wanted to head home and kind of take a break from all the chaos down at the beach, and I'm glad I did because they ended up, having riots on the main street.
I know.
Which looked really dangerous.
It was crazy, yeah. And by the way, like the ASP World Tour website has not updated the results for the Vans U.S. Open of Surfing. How'd you do? I mean, I know I could have gone to the actual contest side as well, but I just, I've got a million things going on. How'd you do? What happened at the contest for you?
I actually ended up losing out in round 2.
Oh, the worst, the worst round. Which
is, dead last.
I'm sorry. What happened?
It's okay. You're talking to me a week later, so I've already accepted it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a tough event for me. I got fit the quarterfinals last year, and yeah, I came up against Lakey Peterson in round 2, who is the defending champ of that event. So I knew it was going to be a tall order to try and beat her, and she's such an amazing competitor and surfer. And so yeah, I came up short, and that's how the cookie crumbled.
And you always want in those round 2 heats, you don't want those top-ranked surfers who somehow lost in the opening round. I mean, that's never what you're going for. But, like in my humble opinion, I feel like so many results in surf contests depend on the waves themselves. I mean, did you get screwed over in a lot of ways by that, where the selection of waves pretty poor in your heat?
Well, that's something, that's so interesting about surfing, is that we're not working with a consistent condition.
Yeah.
We're not working with, a repetitive wave, the same shape, size, wind, all of those kind of elements. So in a contest, I mean, we travel all the way around the world, so conditions are always going to be different. And sometimes the ocean doesn't produce a wave for you, and we're on a time limit, and we can't control Mother Nature. So it definitely puts excitement in it, and it definitely puts, kind of a lot of luck in it as well, because the surfers that catch the best waves, majority of the time, if they don't fall, they're going to win the heat. So
that's
true. I think that's something that has to do with preparation and just choosing a strategy to where you sit in the right spot and catch the right waves is definitely a huge part of competitive surfing.
Absolutely, and we're joined by Sage Erickson here on WaXed. The defending champion of the Supergirl Jam. I think there's a separate name for the actual surf side of it, right? Is it like the Ford Supergirl Pro? Is that what it is?
Yeah, this year we've had a few new sponsors come on.
Nice.
So it is the Ford Supergirl Pro, and that is the ASP side of it.
Beautiful. Now, it's funny. I saw you in person it was a year or 2 ago. I didn't get a chance to meet you. You're super busy, but this was up in Santa Cruz. It was the whatchamacallit? What did they call that contest? The Coldwater Classic.
Yeah.
At Steamers Lane. And you were doing I believe the interviews as part of the webcast commentating crew. Is that something you want to do eventually? Do you want to get into the broadcast side of things and the media side of things? I thought you were doing really well. Usually I'm for the record, I'm really critical of webcast commentators. I feel like 90, maybe 95% of them are strictly hired by the sponsor, which isn't always a bad thing, but I mean, at least pick someone who's good at it. You know what I'm saying? They don't do that more times than not. But I thought you were good at it. You seem like a natural. You ask good questions. Is that something you hope to do in the future? Or is that something you're interested in? Or did it have to do with the fact that O'Neill was your sponsor then and they just asked you?
Well, it kind of started off, I did a few post-heat interviews and some webcasting at the Oakley World Pro Juniors in Bali the previous year. And I just really liked just talking about the competitors, and I really enjoy building relationships with each surfer. And I like kind of the whole suspense of being on like a live broadcast and having the challenge of asking, the right questions, because oftentimes I'll be watching the webcast, like you said, and specific people will just ask questions that aren't relevant to the heat or to what is going on. And I always catch myself like thinking of things that I would ask or trying to relate to the surfer as much as I could. And I feel like that's, more exciting or entertaining to watch, or things that I want to know happen in the heat. And so, I'm not really sure what the future has for like the broadcasting sort of things. When O'Neill did do their 60-year anniversary contest up there at Coldwater, they kind of said, hey, Sage, do you want to come up and be involved? We got an art show going on. And I said, heck yeah, like I'll do the webcast and just be around the event. And it was such an exciting time because the world title race for the men's is going on. And I really enjoyed it. So I'm pretty honored that you thought I did an okay job.
Yeah, just being honest. Just telling the truth.
Cool.
Yeah, and I thought you did, and if that's something you continue to do, I think that would be a plus for competitive surfing. I thought you did a good job, and we're joined by Sage Erickson here on WaXed. And besides being a talented surfer, I thought you did a great job broadcasting. It doesn't surprise me that given your background as a professional surfer, and I didn't know until you told me, a couple minutes ago that you also played soccer growing up, that you're gorgeous. You're Richter, dude. You did this. You did. And apologies if I'm making things awkward with you. I'm sorry. I'm a flirt.
That's okay.
So you did this photo shoot with Stab Magazine.
Yeah.
Wow. Like I was blown away. That's what I think you got on the radar of a lot of people with that spread. I want to give you mad props for that first.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Dude, you deserve any praise you get for that and just for your surfing and everything you're doing. What are your but with that said, we're in an era now with women's surfing where it's being, at least monetarily speaking. I mean, you could look however you want and still compete and do a great job, but if you want to actually make money doing this and make a career out of it, you kind of have to be both an amazing surfer and you have to be ridiculously good looking, and you fit that bill in both cases. And that recently they had the Roxy Pro Biarritz, which generated some controversy because Roxy made an ad that featured just Stephanie Gilmore, in her underwear, and there's no surfing at all in this advertisement.
Right.
What are your thoughts? Do you like the way women's surfing is heading, or some people say it's always been this way. Other people say it's kind of generally going that way. It's sort of being sexist almost. Do you like the way things are going right now in women's surfing?
You know what? I think women's surfing, each one of us girls has a different perspective on the way we want to represent ourselves, the way we want to compete, and kind of the way we embrace this lifestyle, competing and not competing. For me, I find surfing such a sexy sport, and it's such a beautiful lifestyle. We're in bikinis in tropical locations, and I love being able to share that with people around the world.
So do I.
As for, Steph's decision and on that video, that's her own personal choice.
Well, I don't blame her. I don't think anyone blames her. I think they were more blaming Roxy just because I mean, dude, if your sponsor's telling you to make a video, you're like, sure, whatever. You have no idea what's going to end up with that. You know what I'm saying? Like Roxy, in my opinion, I think they screwed the pooch with that just because I know they made a second video where there actually was surfing, but there was no mention of that. They released it way later. Maybe I guess my question is, do you feel like the people running the show at the top, do you think they're doing an okay job, or do you think they're kind of steering things in a direction that shouldn't be going? I don't know. What do you think?
It definitely varies with the company. I think everyone's always going to have a different opinion on something. Everyone's going to have a different perspective. I think the last thing Roxy, was looking to do was misrepresent our sport. Roxy has been so good at contributing to sponsoring events for us, which, the past 3 years, the women have really struggled with having sponsors.
Yeah.
And I think, that's where the push comes into just incorporating confidence in our body images, or confidence in these shoots in a sense that you want to say, and not saying that we're looking for attention because the surf contests are lacking or that support is. But just like I said, everyone has a different preference of, what they feel is acceptable and how to represent themselves. And at the end of the day, I have to, accept and not judge them on their choices and what they do.
Well, I think you're doing a great job. you're doing
Thank you
fine.
very much.
You're doing amazing. And we're joined by Sage Erickson here on WaXed. And one more question about that Roxy Pro contest, and I'm wondering, I just want to get your opinion on it. Were you pissed, like a lot of the surfers were, that they scheduled it at a time of year when it's usually flat, which resulted in them canceling the event? Fortunately, they rescheduled it. But, I mean, you guys had to fly out there and, take all that time and energy. Were you upset about that, or is that something just you don't really care about?
Canceling the event was definitely, I think, hard to swallow for a lot of the girls. Just, putting forth the money and going out there and having flat conditions. And, 3 days before our waiting period started, it was 5 foot and really good. So, things like that happen, and that's a part of surfing. You can't control the ocean. Scheduling an event in the middle of summer in France probably wasn't the best choice for, swell conditions there. But at the end of the day, all of us girls are so close that we had dinners and we had baguettes and watched the sunset, and it's a French summer. So I can't really complain if that's considered work for me.
True. I love your optimism because you're right. I mean, I love France. It's a beautiful country. You can't really go wrong, right? I mean, regardless of whether they surf or not. I mean, France is amazing.
Exactly.
That's so true. And we're joined by Sage Erickson here on WaXed. Is the reason for you switching, because you were with O'Neill for a while and you switched over to Oakley, I think in the last year. Was that because of finances, or was that your personal choice? What was the reason for the switch there?
Yeah, well, actually, O'Neill and I did part ways. I'm not currently head to toe Oakley yet.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's totally fine. And at first it's a bit weird not to be with such a brand that is so active in surfing or is so known for being a part of surf culture. But actually not having an apparel sponsor, I've gotten to do some amazing trips with outside brands. Like I got to go to the headquarters of Free People in Philadelphia this past year and go kind of do a collaboration with their blogs and meet at their headquarters and things like that.
What companies?
I wouldn't have been able to do if I was with O'Neill.
Yeah,
and
what companies were they?
I'm really, really passionate about fashion. And it was just so amazing to go from, the beach and surfing to going to like a fashionable label and looking at like just the things we create. And it's almost like art, the pieces and the clothes and all of it. So I'm really kind of excited for the opportunities that are arising from something at the time of being disappointed to seeing now that it's actually really fruitful and exciting. Yeah.
What companies were you doing this work for in Philly?
Well, I flew out there. I was on my way to do a mini marathon to run through Central Park with Oakley.
Nice.
And, it was Free People, that I got to go to their headquarters and check everything out.
Oh, beautiful. Wait, so you're sitting here telling me right now that you don't have an apparel sponsor? Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's crazy. Wow, that's mind-blowing. You're going to get someone soon. I mean, you're way too hot. And dude, you're on the ASP Women's World Tour and you're a model. Like, that's mind-blowing. That really blows my mind. But you're saying is there a chance you think Oakley's going to make this a full-on sponsorship soon? Is this something you're working towards? Or
we will just have to wait and see.
Fair enough. My co-host, Omar Echeverry, he's not here right now, unfortunately, but he works for Oakley. And he loves them. I mean, he has nothing but love, towards that brand. So, well, hopefully something works out for you sooner than later. That's shocking to me. I really was not aware of that. And dude, I've been talking to you forever. My sincerest apologies. I'm gonna let you go real quick. What do you? One thing I did want to ask though. I follow you on Instagram and Twitter. I believe your handle is Sage Erickson. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Perfect. You can follow Sage both on Instagram and Twitter. Yes, she posts all her modeling photos on there and all her surfing photos and travel. You definitely have the social media game down very well.
Thank you.
A lot of you're welcome. A lot of the photos that you post is with I believe your brother Noah. Is that his name?
Yeah, that is his name.
What's his role in your life? Is he a manager? Is he someone who, like, did he get you into surfing? Like, what's your brother's role in your life?
Well, my brother, he's always surfed from a really young age, and that was kind of his deal. And he was the one that had the dream to be like the pro surfer, and he was amazing. And he is like 20 times better at surfing than I am, but when he gets in a heat, he completely melts down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's like he's a completely different surfer. So when we were growing up, I was the one that always kind of sucked, and he was really good. But I seemed to just stay more composed, and so now he is kind of my coach and mentor, and I take him along, and he comes to every World Tour event with me, and he susses out the conditions, my boards, and just helps me with the technical side of surfing and where I need to improve in departments that, I'm not even aware of, or being a girl, I easily get distracted. So he kind of brings everything back into priorities.
Is he your only sibling?
He is. He's my only brother, or only sibling, and he's 3 years older than I am.
3 years? Okay, gotcha. So, okay. Well, that's great, man. It's really awesome that you have the support group with you to travel around with. It's definitely a bonus, right?
Yeah, it's always nice having a little bit of home on the road.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I read somewhere your parents are separated or they're split up. My parents have been divorced for a long time, so I'm with you if that's the case.
Yeah, they are separated.
Was that a good thing for you, like growing up? Like for me, it was one of those things where I was almost like thankful it happened. How'd you deal with it? Was it something easy or was it
No, they've been separated probably for as long as I could remember, but they always kept a stable relationship when it came to communicating, or it was kind of that thing like it didn't work. Like they couldn't figure out the resolution, and that was okay.
It is.
I always spent like half the week with my mom and half the week with my dad, and that was fine. So, realistically, when they were together, I think they tried to reconcile for 5 months, and that was like hell on earth. So, in all retrospect, it's probably better that they're separated.
Yeah. Well, so when you moved to Hawaii, were they still together then?
That was kind of when my dad got the good job. I think he was like, "Hey, I got the good job. Like, maybe we should try and work stuff out."
Yeah.
And maybe that was like the spontaneousness of it was like, "Hey, I'm moving to paradise. Like, everything's going to come together," and it didn't really in their sense, but the blessings and things that came out of it for my brother and I's future kind of surpassed all that little drama, which was awesome.
Absolutely.
I'm thankful even amidst the hardships of it.
Yeah, no, dude, that's great. And we're joined by Sage Erickson here on WaXed. And what's your social scene like? When you're out there, you turned 21, like a year or two ago. Are you a party girl? Like, are you a good girl? Like, do you have a boyfriend? Like, what's your social scene like?
I am actually single.
Yay.
And I would definitely say I'm referred to often as a grandma because I'm kind of an early bird. I like to go to bed, at least be in bed by 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
And I love mornings. Mornings is like my favorite time ever. And I'm one of those people that need like a solid 8 hours, or I'm totally the Grinch the next day.
I hear you. I'm with you on that.
And so I'm not really that big on drinking. I'm not really that big on going out. I'm just kind of happy and content with life and surfing and photography and all just the little things that don't involve drinking, hungover, and eating junk for the next day because you feel like crap.
Totally.
Trying to surf and not being able to stand up.
No, I'm 1,000% with you, dude. Like the fact that an entire day is ruined because of that, it eats at me. I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just hangovers suck. Yeah. And you're right, dude. Respect. I have great respect for your life choices, and that's awesome. And before we let you go, and again, you're going to be competing at the Ford Supergirl Pro. Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's it.
And Sage Erickson, the defending champion of the event, going to be competing in it. And before we let you go, you might not have currently, and you will soon. I'm positive of this. You're going to have an apparel sponsor, like a full one that's going to be paying you a heavy salary. But you got other sponsors? Who's paying your bills?
Yeah, I actually have 4 sponsors: Oakley Eyewear, Freestyle Watches,
nice.
Custom Shoes, and Channel and Surfboards. So,
beautiful.
even though I don't have an apparel sponsor right now, I'm very thankful for their support and all that they do for me.
And you will soon. And I know O'Neill used
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, you will. You don't even have to do that. I'm telling you, because O'Neill dropped everybody. I mean, they have one male surfer on their entire team right now. It's crazy. You know,
yeah,
it's just
I think, just the surfing industry in general has taken such a big hit with all the economy issues and up and downs and everything. So, I hope they could pull it around and, I don't know, find some new marketing tool that will take them back up to the top. Hopefully.
They will. You're going to be okay. I promise you that. And look forward to following you and on Twitter and Instagram. Follow Sage Erickson at Sage Erickson. Just her name, as easy as it gets. Wish you all the best in your competitive future and with everything else that's going on with you. And hope to get you back on the show someday soon.
Thanks so much for having me. I really enjoyed speaking with you.
Likewise, Sage. Have a great day.
Okay, you too.
All right, later. Beautiful. And that was Sage Erickson here on WaXed on ESPN 1700.
Visit our website, waxedradio.com, to get complete show podcasts and follow us on all social media at WaXed Radio. Now, here's a recap of the weekend surf news.
Want to first off thank Sage Erickson again for that terrific interview. Some guests do not come on this program and open up the way she did. Very candid, very personable, very charming. And make sure you follow her on her social media accounts on Twitter and Instagram. Her handle is her name, at Sage Erickson. Omar Echeverry, we finally got you. You there?
I am alive. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, how you doing, brother?
Good. I don't know what happened. Phone was acting kind of weird.
That's all good. Before we get to the news with Natalie Rose, I want to go down memory lane with you, O-Dog. So on our website, waxedradio.com, we podcast every show, and on top of that, I've been going to our old radio show's website and grabbing all of the best interviews we've done, and there's a lot of them. Again, we've been doing this for 10 years. O-Dog, I think you're on 9 years. I think we made you official a year after we started that program. And so I'm going there grabbing all these crazy interviews and just getting nostalgic, dude. Because with a lot of these interviews, when I download them and then upload them to our new site, and again, the website's waxedradio.com, I go back and listen to these interviews, right? And then I'll tweet all the ones, most of them I'll go ahead and tweet them. And so you can actually go to our Twitter handle and just, press on the tweet and listen to the interview on your phone right then and there. And dude, it's crazy, how insane we were. I don't know, man. It's a trip. For example, if you go to our Twitter handle, I tweeted an in-studio interview we did with Johnny Knoxville. We did this in-studio interview with both Kelly Slater and Jeff Clark. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. That was good. Wasn't that down at the Pebble Beach?
Yeah. We actually had a studio at Pebble Beach, and Kelly Slater plays there every year, and and Jeff Clark was his caddy that year.
Wow.
And then the one that it really, I know it's crazy. It makes me miss these old days. I sort of miss what we used to have. This shows that, dude, we're trying to get there, but we're not anywhere near where we used to be. I mean, we used to be just crazy. I mean, there's a level of insanity to this program that we have not matched yet. But there was an interview we did with a supermodel, Marissa Miller, who's former cover model for Sports Illustrated. I think she's in some new movie with Ryan Reynolds and Jeff Bridges, actually. And you were on fire, dude. You were so on fuego in this interview. Charming her pants off. It was great.
Nice. Well, I felt comfortable because I think her dad helped us get that interview, and he was a huge KNBR fan and lived in Santa Cruz and had been a fan of a lot of our friends growing up surfing. So maybe that's why I felt comfortable.
I don't know. You were amazing in that interview. You were just she was blown away at everything you were just throwing at her. And again, if you just follow us even on Twitter, you don't even have to go to our website. Just follow us on Twitter at WaXed Radio. We tweet all these old interviews we've done and have direct links to the MP3. I mean, that Marissa Miller interview by itself was fascinating.
I'm just glad you're not saying we sound drunk in every single interview because, a lot of them were at bars. They were in crazy places. We did so many satellite stations.
And some of those interviews, we had the booze in studio, you're right, dude. Like, you could tell. It's so funny. Like, listening back, you could tell, especially by the end of the shows. I mean, there was a little slurring going on. It was no, it's hilarious. Because our old show used to be on like Saturday nights, so the show would always be like a precursor to whatever we were going to do for the evening.
Oh yeah.
But it's fascinating. I don't know. It's dude. We had a rockin' show, and we're trying to get that here. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. But go to our website, waxedradio.com. We're archiving all of these old interviews, and eventually, when we do like future best of shows, I want to start playing some of these old ones and editing out like the old radio station name and all that. So we'll get to that. But if you want to listen to those, it's a great listen if you plug your iPod into your car. Or again, it sounds great just from your iPhone or your smartphone speaker. Like just that by itself, you can hear these interviews really clearly. So go check it out. Either our website, waxedradio.com, just go to the archive page, or follow us on Twitter at waxedradio. But it was a fun trip down memory lane. Natalie, if you ever get a chance to listen to what we used to do, I would love to get your feedback because it was different.
It sounds crazy.
It was really different. And again, and there's it's probably going to be, when all said and done, when I'm done archiving all these interviews onto our new page, it's going to be like over 100 interviews, at least. So yeah, go take a look or listen or whatever. But anyways, O-Dog, you doing good?
Yeah, life is great. Waves are flat. I'm bored, but whatever.
You were in Sacramento last week for some run, like a glow run or something. Are you back in Santa Cruz this week?
Yeah, I'm back in Santa Cruz. But yeah, it's overcast and flat. I don't know what to do. I got to get out of here.
That's when you stand up paddleboard, right?
I've been longboarding lately.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I kind of been over the paddle surfing. I don't know.
Dude, I'm telling you, August for you is always longboarding month. I've noticed that.
It is. It's longboarding and running month. That's all I do.
Well, Natalie, there's been a lot going on in news. Hit it.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on in the news. Ricardo dos Santos accused Jamie O'Brien of punching him in the face during a contest. During the trials of the Billabong Pro Chopu, which determined the wild cards for the contest, the Brazilian said that Jamie O'Brien punched him in the face, which allowed him not to move any further in the contest. And then later on, nothing was like, Jamie O'Brien didn't tweet anything or say anything on Instagram, so people were like, that's kind of like jacked up. Well, then later on, Jamie O'Brien did apologize, and he put his head down and shook his hand to the Brazilian surfer Ricardo dos Santos, and he expressed his humility and apologized on Instagram. So,
O-Dog, have you followed this story at all?
Not really. I heard a little bit about it, but I mean, I think that's great that Jamie did that because Ricardo is an unbelievable charger. That guy charges. He's been one of the standouts at the Pipe Masters, obviously in Tahiti. I've heard he is pretty aggressive, but I've also heard he's a really nice guy. So
and he did win the wild card last year, it said.
Yep. Yeah, he did. He is gnarly. I think he was nominated for Wave of the Year like 3 or 4 times, too, in Hawaii. He's insane.
Well, he's also the guy who knocked out Kelly Slater in this event last year at the Billabong Pro Tahiti. Now, I think part of the reason why, O-Dog, you didn't hear about it is because not a single major surf publication reported on it.
Nobody did.
Nobody.
Not even Billabong.
And exactly, Billabong, who's hosting this event, I think in the recap of the trials, they mentioned it in a paragraph that they got into a altercation in the water. But none of the major websites or magazines touched on it at all. It's crazy. It's kind of a big deal. And there's a lot to this. So in a nutshell, Jamie O'Brien and Ricardo dos Santos are competing. It was the first heat of the first round of the Billabong trials to determine who's surfing this event. And there was like seconds remaining. And at this point, dos Santos was second, which was good enough to advance. And Jamie O'Brien went for a wave. They paddle battled. They were both going for the same wave. And I guess Jamie O'Brien was on the inside, so he lost priority, and he punched dos Santos as they were like right next to each other. And the altercation continued. Like after the wave was over, I guess they both started throwing punches at each other. Got whoever's officiating this thing, somebody on a jet ski came in there and split them up. And then there was the whole apology. Dos Santos tweeted or Instagrammed a photo of a busted lip. That's how this all really got out there. He put an up-close photo of his face with his lip just completely split open. And then he said, and what was crazy about this is that he insinuated that Jamie O'Brien like, attack the entire country of Brazil. Like, this was an attack on the entire country, in essence, is what he was kind of, like, going with this. And then Jamie O'Brien posts this photo with him, shaking his hand, and his head is, like, bowed down, like, submissively. Now, Jamie O'Brien, actually, like, he didn't think the photo would come out that way because he did an interview with Stab Magazine where he almost rescinded the apology. He was like, look, I didn't expect to apologize this far. Like, I'm not apologizing to all of Brazil. You know, I admit I did wrong by throwing the punch, but this is out of control. And that's that. I don't know. It's kind of, the whole thing's fascinating to me. I don't know.
I don't know. My take is they're just taking it too far. It's just silly. I mean, people are feeding way too deep into it. And, you know, give it to the Brazilians to feed way too deep into it. It's like, dude, like, you know, it's probably just a little battle. You know, that probably happened. They probably didn't like each other before then, you know, and it just came to head.
Maybe. And Santos wrote on his Instagram account, quote, "For the Brazilian people, I told him to put his head down and be humble. As a normal human, Brazil, we got dignity back," unquote. And that's what accompanied the photo of them shaking hands, and Jamie O'Brien's head is, like, tucked down. Like it's dude, the whole, I don't know. To me, I've never seen anything like this in surfing. I don't know.
If somebody punches Kelly Slater, they need to apologize to America.
Well,
right?
I've never seen on an
the whole country.
Well, I've never seen on an ASP World Tour level two guys fighting like this. Have you?
Yeah, there's been a few here and there, but maybe not to this level.
Yeah, where, like, punches are being thrown, like, out in the water, and there's, like, no video footage of it, which I'm totally pissed off about, because I guarantee you they're out there recording something, you know? They just covered. I want to see this fight. I want to see what really. Yeah, whatever. So, but yeah, Jamie, and what's crazy too is that because of Jamie O'Brien punching him, it knocked him out of the event. That's what was even more crazy about it.
That's just crazy.
Yeah. Well, the Billabong Pro Tahiti, I think that's what they're actually calling it. It's at Chopu. They finished rounds 1 and 2, I believe, and I think they are doing round 3 right now, or in the process of it. But that's happening, and the waves seem to be, you know, looking good out there. They're not like the insane heavy, like, Code Red barrels that we've been accustomed to when we see Chopu, but it's good out there. I think it's, like, just overhead. I haven't watched the webcast yet. Have you?
Yeah, I watched all day yesterday. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. I mean, it's not like your crazy, dangerous Chopu.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think they had like 4 or 5 perfect 10s, which is something that I'm just so sick of. That's one thing I want to bring up. The show, it's like, come on, judges. They had like 4 perfect 10s in one day. I just think that's stupid. I mean, you don't see perfect scores in the Olympics. I mean, ever.
You're right. I think judging in competitive surfing in general really needs to be looked at as a whole.
So bad.
It's horrible.
But yeah, the waves are really, really good. And I believe they just put it on hold to 10:30 Tahitian time. So I think that's somewhere around 2 o'clock today. Then they might hold more heat.
Gotcha. And I think the website for that, I think if you go to billabongpro.com or something like that, you'll find it. What else going on in the news, Natalie? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Or ASPWorldTour.com.
There you go. Beautiful. Natalie, what else is going on in the news?
Okay, well, a guy pretends he's an 80s rock star surfer on food stamps, and Fox News reports on him. So we found a little clip for our listeners. Let me see if I can play it.
And this is a clip off conservative network channel, Fox News. Let's not pretend they're a news channel for a second, all right? There's very little objectivity to that network. But they did an interview with this guy who is claiming to be like a local San Diego surfer and who's on food stamps. Let's take a listen to the report.
Another day in the life of Jason, living at Rat Life.
And what exactly is the Rat Life?
Well, your typical day. Are you like a early morning guy, get out and get some waves, or
No.
sort of later in the afternoon?
Yeah, later in the afternoon kind of guy. Wake up, go down the beach, meet up with my friends, skate it up, hit on some chicks, beer, start drinking.
All day, every day. We caught up with Green Slate in La Jolla, California, close to where he grew up. The 29-year-old has chosen the life of a beach bum in this seaside paradise. With no fixed address, Jason has, for the last couple of years, floated from place to place, staying with family, pals, and girls he's dated.
It was a nice day today, though, huh?
He gets by with a little help from his friends and you, the taxpayer.
My EBT SNAP card. It's got the coast of California on it.
So how do you get a SNAP card?
You just go out to the Human Resource Office, have your birth certificate and your Social Security card. I don't got a paycheck coming in, so I qualify. That's that.
And how often do you have to do that? Is it every month, every 6 months?
They got it now. It's where you only do it once a year.
This guy's awesome. I think he's so funny. This is so awesome.
Oh my gosh, that guy's great. Can we get him on the show?
Yeah, we need to get him on the show. Let's get him on the show.
We'll try. His name's his name's Jason Greenslate. He's some local. He claimed, I guess he was in La Jolla or something like that. So I want to get him on the show because I want to know, first of all, how Fox News even found him. Like, how do you track this guy down? You know what I'm saying? Secondly, like, the whole clip shows him using his food stamp card. He claims he gets $200 a month in free food. And he's at a supermarket using that food stamp card to buy lobster and sushi, right?
That's so awesome. I love it.
I love his voice, too. He's like, yeah, I just go down. I have my birth certificate and Social Security card. Like, who carries that around? Remember we were talking that even before the show started. We're like, who carries your birth certificate around?
Yeah, apparently he does.
Isn't that crazy?
His whole life in a bag, guaranteed. It's like in a little backpack.
Well, no. You know what made this story even crazier is, like, in the video clip, he's driving like a brand new truck. So he's got some souped up brand new truck, and he's supposedly 29. He looks like he's 50. He's super weathered, haggard, but and then he's getting food stamps. I'm guessing he's a member of some band, and I think he did this to promote the band and get some exposure for them.
Rat Snake or something like that, right?
Yes, I think that's or Rad Life.
Nah, it says the band Rat Snake.
Is it Rat Snake? It's with two
RATTSNAKE. Rat Snake, I guess. I don't know.
Rat Snake.
Rat Snake.
So
performing live.
It's fascinating.
We gotta get a YouTube video of this guy.
It's on YouTube. If you just look it up, that's how we've got the clip from.
We're promoting him, Rat Snake.
Yeah, we're giving him way too much exposure. We should get him on the show because
we should totally get him on the show.
I want to know because not just besides all that, like
how funny would he be?
He'd be fascinating. I'd grill him though. I mean, I think he's a piece of crap if he's really getting food stamps.
He'd be like, I'm only coming on the show if I get paid, probably.
Well, this whole interview is crazy. He's anti-work. I mean, he goes off about like, dude, I refuse to get a real job. I'm not going to take orders from the man. Like, he's going off about that kind of stuff, too. So I'm curious to know how he pays his bills, where he lives, and $200 a month when you're, in one video clip, you're getting lobster and sushi. That's only going to last you like 3 days. That's not going to last you a whole month, So how's he getting food for the rest of the month? I have a lot of questions. We should get him on the show. You're right.
He probably has a nice little legal grow room. That's my guess. Wild guess. Grow room. 12 plants, California legal.
You're probably right.
I mean, he's a rock star.
So
I don't know. I think he sounds. I mean, yeah, he's sucking off the system, which totally sucks. But
I think Natalie has a crush on him.
No, definitely not. But he's just like, his voice. He sounds all like total stoner and like partier.
He's not stoner. He looks like an '80s rocker. Like he's got shades, long hair, like a tank top,
tight jeans.
I don't know. I didn't observe that carefully, but he's totally the '80s rocker, dude. He's trying to be like Tommy Lee. That's like what he's going for when you see the video.
Get naked.
And the way he talks, dude, he's like using all the
song right?
He's using all this like '80s jargon. The guy is just like an '80s rock star trapped in like 30 years too late.
Oh, but, we're just all jealous.
I'm not jealous at all.
I know he's crushing it. He does nothing all day long.
Just surfs in a rock band. Yeah, I'm just jealous.
He's probably, dating some, has been hot chick.
Maybe. Maybe.
With big fake tits.
It's crazy, though. He's 29, and he looks so much older. He looks so beat.
You got to post that video on our site. Come on.
Done.
That's great.
I'll have this on waxedradio.com later today. If you go to our website, we'll have it up there. What else going on in the news, Natalie?
All right. Well, Matt Damon was recently on David Letterman, and he talked about David Letterman commented and was like, on his physique and how he has such a nice body. And he's like, how do you stay in shape? And he said surfing was how he stayed in shape. And he said he's not. David asked him why do you like surfing or how you got into it? And he just said, I got into it as a workout. And Matt Damon just said, I'm not really good at it, but I'm going to keep doing it. So we actually do have the interview for that as well.
Yeah, let's play that clip.
So
Matt Damon talking surfing with David Letterman.
Damon, nice to see you. Yeah, good to see you too. How you doing? How's your summer going? You know, we were talking backstage, and I touched you on the arm like this, and it was like concrete. It was like iron. And I said, oh my God, what have you been doing? And you said,
surfing.
Surfing.
Yeah.
Good for you. And are you an accomplished surfer?
I'm terrible. Really? Yeah. I'm really bad. But that actually, I think, gets you in better shape because you have to paddle a lot. You're always in the wrong place.
Well,
it's true.
I've never done it, but people tell me just paddling out alone will exhaust you. Just getting on the board will exhaust you.
Yeah, it's pretty exhausting. And then I had like a couple good near-death experiences. Those are pretty tiring, too.
And what happens? Did you get hit in the head with the board?
No, just really big waves.
Yeah.
I mean, big for me, not for real surfers, right. But, for a beginner.
Now, did you get to the point where you can just ride an actual wave in?
Oh, yeah.
That must be thrilling, isn't it?
It's one of the most amazing feelings that I've ever had. The problem is when you miss a wave and you paddle for it, and then you're kind of on the inside, and then the big waves come behind it, you take them on the head.
Oh. And do you learn how to read the waves and where they're breaking and the
I'm
point
told
break
eventually
and all of that
will happen, yeah. That hasn't happened for me yet.
How long have you been surfing?
Well, I started it like 6 years ago, like just on a summer kind of vacation, and then I kind of do it here and there. So probably all told, maybe 6 weeks.
That's epic.
That is.
That's great.
You know what I was actually really surprised about that interview is David Letterman actually kind of knew a lot about surfing. He's like, did you read the waves? I was like, did he really?
He knew,
you're
right.
He knew how to ask the right questions to him.
Well, he knew about the paddling part of it, how difficult that is, which is literally when people start surfing, that's like the first thing, the most challenging aspect of it is you have no paddle strength. You're done in 10 minutes.
You know what? David Letterman did a surf skit a long time ago, and two of my good friends were stunt doubles for it.
Really? And what you're referring to, by the way, this is when Dave Letterman first started his CBS show after he moved up, and he did a week in Los Angeles. And you're right. He did a whole surf segment there. He got on the water and everything. Who were the people who did the stunt doubles?
It was Jeff Deffenbaugh and Greg Browning. What was his old sidekick's name? And they each played one of them, and they full makeup, and they went surfing and were ripping.
Greg Browning,
like David Letterman ripped.
And this is Greg Browning, like the cinematographer, the film guy.
Yeah, Greg Browning. He's well known for starting the clothing company 17 with Conan Hayes, and then he was one of the Momentum crew.
Yeah.
With Taylor Steele and those guys. Nowadays, he works down at Body Glove. I believe he runs a team and does some video stuff for him.
Yeah, I think he was one of the main guys with the Drive-Thru series too.
Yep, he was. Yep.
Yeah, so that's crazy. Yeah, so you're right though. Good call, Natalie. Dave was asking some legitimate surfing questions.
Yeah.
That's what I was really surprised about. I was like, whoa, really? I was like, have you done this before? I mean, I know we're supposed to be talking about Matt Damon, but then I was like, whoa, David Letterman kind of has the lingo down there.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. And it's I would love to see a video clip of Matt Damon out there surfing, because I guarantee you see his board just flying all over the place.
I'm sure he looks pretty good doing it, though.
Maybe. I don't know.
He's not really my type, but he's not ugly. You know what I mean? A lot of girls like him.
Yes.
So I'm sure he would get a lot of hits.
He's Jason Bourne.
So. All right, let's move on to a different story. Okay, this is one fear I was always afraid was going to happen, but it hasn't. Well, it has happened, but it's never happened to me. But a dolphin breaks an arm of a surfer.
Oh.
So a surfer in Western Australia was out in his local surf spot when a large pod of dolphins that were nearby decided to surf a wave that was heading directly towards the surfer inside, and one hit him and it damaged his board and it broke his arm. And I swear, I'm always like, one time a dolphin is going to like come and hit me because they're huge.
They are.
But isn't that crazy though? I think that's nuts.
And they're all muscle too. It's not,
Mhm.
it's not like they were like fat, blobby things. I mean, they're just pure athleticism.
That, I don't know, dolphins, and then if I see a seal, I get freaked out. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean?
Seals don't work. I've had a seal chase me out. Dog, I'm sure you've had a similar situation.
Yep, I've had them bark at me and chase me out. But
Yeah.
dolphins are gnarly. But I mean, what does the story say? Like, what happened? I mean, they have sonar. I mean, they say it's better than vision, any sense you could imagine to have. How did it hit the surfer? That must have been somewhat.
Like the surfer, I think it makes it sound as the surfer was paddling out, and then the dolphins were just going for the wave. And like if a surfer's paddling out right in the impact zone, and you're going for a wave, and you're like, you're in my way. Kind of the dolphin was like, you're in my way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the dolphin hit the surfer, and I'm like, I'm surprised this actually hasn't happened more. I don't know. I always see dolphins, and I get freaked out. I'm like, everyone's like, they're so cute, and I'm like, forget that. One is gonna turn one day. They do have teeth.
They do, and they kill each other as well.
They do. Well, I think more times than not, I think dolphins kill porpoises.
Porpoises, yes.
For territorial purposes, and you're right. Male dolphins are very aggressive. And I think during mating season, they go crazy a little bit. And you're right, like near actually where you are in Santa Cruz, I think nearby in Monterey, there's reports of dolphins that literally will just toss porpoises around and just beat them to death.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Knock them out of the water. They'll breach them.
Yeah, exactly. They'll toss them around. I've read stories and seen photos of that. It's really fascinating stuff. I wouldn't worry about the dolphin's teeth. I'd worry about his nose and his tail.
They're huge.
But it's when it comes to seals, I've been chased out by them, but I'm never too scared of them because I've never read a single story of a seal killing a human. You know what I'm saying?
No, but
Ever.
okay, not maybe on a surfboard, but I like to go body surf, and we'll go up to the Wedge, and we'll go down to this place called Boomers down in San Diego where you're in the water, and down in Boomers, it's right next to La Jolla. They'll all be sitting there, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's like huge, you're in the water, you're not floating on something, you're like, there's a lot, and you're freaking out. It's coming towards you, and one day that seal's just gonna have a bad day, and they're gonna bite you or something.
Yeah,
I don't want to get bit.
They might bite. Yeah.
Oh my God, don't bite me! I don't taste good.
Oh man, that's funny.
I freak out. Animals scare me in the water.
Yeah.
Same here.
I try not to think about it.
And they probably should scare you. It is,
It is their home.
It's probably a smart emotion that you're feeling at that point in time.
Right. Totally. I mean, we're visiting their spot,
Yeah, it's their home.
Yep.
But anyways, anything else going on in the news? Or?
It's up to you guys.
Yeah. What do you think, O-Dog?
I think we can do one more. Then I got a jet.
Yeah, let's do one more.
Little guy, he's pulling at me already.
Let's do one more quick one.
Okay, well, a surfer, this one actually, we haven't been able to get to it, but do you remember Christopher Dorner? Do you guys remember that guy?
Yes, to remind people about that, this is a former member of the LAPD who went rogue and started just killing. I think he started killing other police officers, if I'm not mistaken, and they ended up chasing him down up in like the mountains of LA, somewhere up there, correct? Like Big Bear or something like that?
Yeah, it was in Big Bear, which is crazy because I think like that weekend I was up there, or like the next weekend or the weekend before, I don't know. I was like, yeah, it was crazy. They were all looking for him up in Big Bear.
O-Dog, you remember him, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Christopher Dorner, all these LAPD and police officers, like, they were on the look for Christopher Dorner. And basically what happened and if I ruin any names, I apologize to anyone listening, but David Perdue, a Southern California surfer who was shot by the Torrance police during a manhunt for ex-cop Christopher Dorner, filed a lawsuit against Los Angeles Police Department. So what happened is he filed this lawsuit because he was on his way to go surf for the morning, this 38-year-old man, and he had the same truck, a black Honda pickup. And so the police pulled him over, stopped him, and basically gave him a hard time. We were like trying to, they held him, and then they were like, oh, I guess you're not him, So they let him go. And then, right after that, another police officer, tried to pull him over and, rammed him off the road and like shot at him, I guess.
Oh.
And so now he's filing like all these allegations, which includes like excessive force, false arrest, battery, you know what I mean? All this stuff and emotional distress. And
That's what he's suing him for.
yeah, that's what he's suing him for. Sorry. So
So Christopher Dorner was a huge African-American male. Unless this guy resembled him, there shouldn't have been any reason to fire shots.
yeah, no, it's crazy. They
That
like
is
detained
crazy.
him for like an hour. I would have been like, hello, I have like places, or if it was my day
Hello?
off, I would be, excuse me, like,
Gosh.
do I look like him?
Oh, congrats to him. He just won the lottery. I mean,
know.
he's going to get like $1 million at least out of this.
I'm sure he got a new truck too.
Well,
He's like, I do not want. He's like, I'm not gonna have the same truck as this guy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I can't believe we keep missing that one. But I thought, I mean, what would you do if this guy, like a cop, pulled you over and was like accusing you?
Hands on the wheel and just obey until it's over with. I mean,
I'd be crying.
you just got to be respectful. That's what I've always said with police officers. If you're respectful and just don't try to, start anything, if you don't rabble-rouse, you're going to get out of it more times than not.
I mean, yeah, they have to approach everything, trying to do the best they can, but knowing the person could kill them, really. I mean, isn't that scary?
Yeah.
And the whole story is, I don't know if you mentioned this, he was initially pulled over, and then they sent him on his way, and then another police car rammed his pickup and shot at him.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, he's going to win this lawsuit with ease. Congrats. You just got yourself $1 million.
Yeah, I guess.
So, as long as that gunshot didn't cause any permanent damage, great, dude. Congrats, brother.
Let's go get shot, Cyrus. Send me the money.
Well, I've always said the easiest way to make money, and this was back when we were up in San Francisco, was to get injured by a Muni bus. Like San Francisco's public transportation was Muni, one of the most corrupt government agencies ever. I mean, this thing was riddled with just gross misspending, bribery. Just the very epitome of government corruption is this organization, Muni. And I've always said, but if a citizen ever was injured by any form of public transportation in San Francisco, you were instantly guaranteed a six-figure settlement. Yep. And I've always thought, that's always been my ticket for easy money. Just let a bus run over my foot. If one of those, if one of those trains, if you just, jump off early or try to get on late, get hurt somehow, you're guaranteed a fat paycheck. I've always thought that was the easiest way to get money, but, yeah.
Or we could get $200 a month like our buddy.
That's funny. So, so Natalie, great job with the news. And again, for people tuning in going, what are these guys doing on the air right now? What is this program? We are WaXed Surf Talk Radio. We're on at a new time every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 10 plus. Sometimes we run late, but that's okay.
An awesome job with the interview. I really enjoyed Sage Erickson.
Thank you. Yeah, O-Dog, you missed it. We did an interview earlier today with Sage Erickson, and she was a sweetheart.
She's great. No, I'll definitely check it out online.
Yeah, she's amazingly, it was revealed in the interview that she doesn't have an apparel sponsor.
Board of surfing.
I know. Well,
really
she was sponsored by O'Neill, and at some point they dropped her, and she doesn't. I thought Oakley, who you work for, I thought they were her apparel sponsor. Apparently, all they do is cover her eyewear. Yeah. And what's mind-boggling to me with athletes like that is, how do they make money?
It's tough. It's totally tough. I have no idea. A lot of them still live at home, do what they can. It's pretty tough right now.
Must be. And again, she competes on the ASP Women's World Tour, and she doesn't have a sponsor. Unreal. It is tough. It is tough. Well, anyways, thank you again to Sage Erickson for coming on. You can follow her on Twitter and Instagram. It's just her name, @Sage Erickson. Follow us on Twitter, @WaXed Radio, and visit our website, waxedradio.com, for great pics, great videos, and, of course, podcasts of every show we do, not to mention all the old shows Omar and I used to do with some unbelievable interviews. We've had some amazing guests we've had the privilege of spending a lot of time with and sitting down and talking with. And, again, we archive all this stuff. It's on our website, waxedradio.com. Go check that out and follow us on Twitter, @WaxedRadio. O-Dog, what are you doing the rest of the day and weekend?
The rest of the day, I'm going to go longboarding, then I'm going to go run, and then I'm going to work in the yard. About as boring as you can get, and I'm going to finish it up with a few beers.
I think that's great.
Look at you, athlete, overachiever.
Well, no, that's like a balancing out act,
Yeah.
It's not really doing much.
That's true.
But thanks, Matt.
All right, Natalie, we'll enjoy your day at the World Body Surfing Championship up in Oceanside, which I guess is happening today and tomorrow. And we'll be back next week at our new time here on ESPN 1700 every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. On behalf of Amar Echeverry and Natalie Rose, I'm Cyrus Satsas. This is WaXed on ESPN 1700.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is it for us today, and we will leave you with a... I can't do it. No. We'll do it live. Do it live. Thing sucks.